right, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plains. How's the sound? Is the mic okay? I know sometimes it adjusts its side. I'll just double check it. Yeah, no, it should be fine. Good. That's good, yeah. So welcome. Today is a Friday, I think. Yeah, the 9th of June. Friday, the 9th of June, 2017. Best day ever. Let me remind you, however, that trading Forex is not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, however, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hello! My name is Wayne McDonell. I am the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. I'm here to earn your loyalty and respect, and you show that by opening an account with TradersWay.com. Start with the demo, test our execution speed, test our customer service, check out our back office, download MT4 and all that kind of stuff. Get to know us. We want to earn your business and develop a long-term trading business partnership with you, be your prime broker for your successful Forex trading business. And that starts with, education and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I'm here for you every day, 7:30 a.m. Monday through Friday here at Forex.Today. First Friday, however, I'm over at FX Street, where I do Trading Off Our Payrolls Live, which I've been doing for over 11 years, which in the realm of retail Forex trading that you're in, that's forever. No joke. All right, get on with it. How's that, mate? All right. We have to talk about pound. The election was yesterday. Theresa May messed up. All right, great. Whatever. Don't really care. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about the recent past. Got to move this over here. Got to get a drawing tool going. Okay. We discussed recently. Is this going to draw? It's not going to draw. Drawing tool, color red. No draw. You can't see the charts, right? Yeah. Why won't it draw? Will it do blue? Will it do arrows? No. Huh. No drawing tools this day. No drawing tools this day, huh? Let me try one more time. No, I don't think it's going to work. Zip, zip. All right, no drawing tool. All right, so anyways, no drawing tool today. We'll get through it. We were talking about this cluster in here, right? Do you remember me calling out somewhere between I can't even read it anymore, just below 129.76 to about in here. This is a little area right in here, right? Oh, so you don't have charts. I thought you said yes. All right, good. Well, maybe that's why it's not working. All right, stop sharing. Full screen. Try it again. Okay, so maybe it'll draw this time. All right. Yeah, good. All right, so now it'll work. All right, so I believe yesterday and maybe the day before and maybe the day before that, We were talking about this area right in here per pound. And the reason for it was the weekly M4, which is what? The projected top for the week. Okay. This little green line right in here just happens to be the monthly, okay, this is weekly M4, monthly M3. What's important about monthly M3 to swing traders? It's where you sell. Right? I mean, that's what it, that's what it is, right? So what is the target if you sell there? This whole area, you can see I highlighted it as bright yellow. Like last week, do you see the giant arrow here? We're missing part of the red. You see it? I mean, right? What this is saying is if or when we get down here, if it's early in the month, it should hold. Oh! But, and it's a big but, it all starts with this. Okay? If you are a swing trader, and in particularly, I don't know if it's early in the month, that is the prime selling pivot that you've been waiting for. And it happens to be a projected top for the week, which makes this a doubly good sell zone. Okay? Now, yes, I know this is the election, but it still is what it is. Right? Right? It is a factual place. And you may have just shorted and walked away for that's your monthly swing. Right? Think of it this way. You could have started the month as a bear. Now remember, you had to be a bear. And we talk about this every day. That's your job. You need to make that decision. But as a swing trader, if you're a bear, you could just simply have a limit order right in here, and a take profit right in here, and a stop, above here, and then you just walk away. You did that on Monday. Yeah, okay, did you know the election? No, I'm not saying you would. But that is technical analysis. Capiche? So anyone that took the swing course knows that. It's textbook. Le flé tout le monde. Okay, here's a weekly monthly cluster that went the opposite way. Where's the M2? So the M2, monthly M2 is way down here. So this is a very dangerous bullish scenario. Where's the first of the month now? See, we basically, our low right now for the month. The low for the month is here. Okay? What's the target? It's way up here. It's 81. Which means maybe you tiptoe your way up there. The challenge right now is we have weekly resistance, monthly resistance, psych level of 80. So I think it'll take some work. Okay? I don't think it'll be easy. Okay? I don't think it'll be easy. But it's plausible, bro. I don't think it'll be easy. I don't know how it's going to react to this level. But I think it's within reason that we do something like this over the next 2 weeks or so. Okay? But that's our high yielder. That's our high yielder G7 anyways. Speaking about high yielder, so based on the theories I teach you, the short is here, isn't it? We also talked about this was a Wednesday, I think, this was a Thursday, and this was the Friday. And that because of the end of the month and end of the week, that this is the sort of the period. It's not all one instant, right? But this is sort of the whole kit and caboodle. And from there, it should go down. We don't know if it will. But my estimation, my guess, was 2.36, very specific, right? That's a total guess, by the way. 2.36 billion would go this way in this time period. And maybe because you're so smart and good looking, that you might be able to make money on that. Okay. How many people agree with that, with those statements, besides the good-looking and smart part? Joe says yes. Brandon says yes. Ryan says yes. Alyssa says yes. Newman says yes. Yeah. Daniel says yes. I mean, it's cool, right? Jay says yes. Michael says yes. It's nice, right? So this is where you go to jrcigars.com and send me a virtual gift certificate. This is where you buy me cigars, dude. You're like, dude, that's a nice piece of analysis. Because that's what you should be doing, right? Smoking a cigar and you're like, man, I just killed the, right? I killed it on the peso. I make peso pretty. Right? Living like a banker now, man. I mean, it shows up like, right? Monthly. So I used to tell people that you practice one thing, master it maybe for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then try a second thing, master that for 3 to 6 months. And at the end of 2 or 3 years, you have quite a bag or quite a string of pearls. This is just one little pearl. It doesn't always work. Probably doesn't make you a ton of money, but it's something that you know, or you have a plan around, right? Like, for example, at this period, you are not looking for it to rise at all, right? Like, that's a plan, right? You have a bias. You're like, no, it's the first of the month. I'm looking for this to head south. You're not, there is no consideration of it going north, just down or not down. But that is a trade plan. You're supposed to do that with everything. Because you say, well, I don't know if this is going to fall, but I do know I'm not looking to buy it over the next 72 hours. Right? You know what you definitely know what you're not going to do. And you're considering doing one thing, but you definitely know what you're not going to do. But you might do one thing. That is a trade plan, and that will make you a better trader. Yeah, like Ryan says, thanks for sharing the alpha, right? Like, honestly, I invented that as far as I'm concerned, because I remember thinking about it, pondering it, doing research. I could just sit on that. That could just be my thing. Right? That should be worth $100 in cigars. Alrighty. What should we go? Where should we go from here? Which is the way that's clear? Still looking for that blue jean, baby queen. So, we got this to fall. If you remember, it was going to fall here, here, or here. Yeah, Joe. Well, save your pennies and quarters, man. You don't want to go through life where you're $100 is too much money. Oops. I had a conversation with my son who's 11, right? He's like, yeah, I want to buy this thing. I'm like, yeah, well, you're going to buy it with your own money. He's like, yeah, I know. And it was a lot of money, right? I'm like, wow, you have that kind of money? So he goes upstairs to his safe. He's 11. Goes upstairs to his safe, comes down with $650 in cash. I'm like, holy crap. You got $650 in cash under your bed in a safe? He's like, yeah, I've been saving it. Because over the last few years, we've been teaching them how to save. I'm like, holy crap! Yeah. Holy crap. Damn, boy. Yeah. And a suitcase full of cocaine. Is that weird? Oh, yeah, no. We, see, if they spend their money on, like, candies and toys, that's their prerogative. They've earned the money. But if they save it, they earn 50% interest. Yeah. And we track it, we got spreadsheets and all this kind of stuff. So it's just part of teaching, that, and we have them actually write it down, like what is it that you want to buy? So he put what he wanted to save his money for. He put it down on paper, like, I don't know, year and a half ago. And we've gone and looked at it and everything, but it's a clear written goal, like a business plan. He's shopped and shopped, looking at different versions, looking at different prices. He's very patient. He's been waiting, all that kind of stuff. And finally, the right thing came up with at the right price. He loves it and everything. Again, it was his vision a year and a half ago. And that's why I'm like, well, if you got the cash, by all means, you should buy it. And he's like, oh, I got the cash. And I got way more than that. Sure enough. And then he's like, oh, and my Target gift cards, because he saves his money from his birthdays, from his jobs, and allowances and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, good for him, huh? I'm like, shit, I think I paid him too much. Like, can you lend Daddy $100? Yeah. So anyways, he's learning how to business plan, huh? So anyways, going back to this, I shouldn't adjust. We had it this way, right? Our plan was to sell in here, and it had to do with where the moving averages were at that time, because obviously they've moved, right? It was either sell here, here, or here. You understand? Like, that's a plan, right? Like, we don't know if we're going to have a chance to sell. We have three prices in which we might consider selling, but we're not a buyer. Cool, right? And depending on where it kicks off, right? Depending on where it kicks off, we'll kind of decide how far it'll fall. Okay? Using moving averages here, it tells you to get out down here. Okay? If you go back up into here and you're claiming sort of the monthly as as the resistance, then this is an interesting area, because this spot is the monthly support pivot. Okay? Now the problem with this isn't actually June, even though the June pivots are there. So you have to decide, are you using this as the top, and are you claiming it's the monthly with the weekly close to it? I mean, it's a judgment call, right? Where the top kind of predicts the bottom. Don't really know. Now this green zone is, if you were a bear, this is where you should start taking profit, right? And an aggressive bear, and you probably were if you sold below the weekly, you're probably pretty aggressive. But the aggressive bear using weekly pivot points is supposed to take profit at this line. Okay? Now, do you remember the conversation about the law of averages when managing your profit points? Peter, you could. That's what I'm saying. You could. You could decide one or the other. So this one I'm looking at, and it kicked off a weekly, but it's pretty close to a monthly on like the 2nd of the month. So in this one, it's a judgment call. Are you considering that a pivot? You could. So you might have a monthly swing going on there, but probably not. Like, it's not clean, is it? It's not a clean hit. So you might say there actually isn't a monthly swing going on. Okay? So therefore, your point of view is more narrow, where you're not looking for monthly targets now. You might go back and say, Well, it was almost a monthly, but it was definitely a weekly. So maybe I play it weekly, right? So now if you play it weekly, you notice that there isn't a clean entry weekly now. The clean entry would have been up here. Your second opportunity is a weekly swing. Again, I'm assuming you've gone to the swing course, right? But so you don't really have that. So now you're really kind of struggling, right? So what could you use? Well, if you get to the green zone early in the week, you would assume profit taking by these bears and maybe even these bears. See, this up here is a perfect weekly swing. Again, if you took the swing course, boom, golden. Okay? Now, it happened on a Friday, which is not golden, but that's non-farm payrolls for you, right? Beautiful swing. But anyway, so now we're down here, and it's not a beautiful swing. It's a little ugly. You're out of position. It's not great. You may not even traded this, certainly not as a swing. Now, on Monday, we talked about this being a pivot, or not a pivot. We talked about it being a moving average entry because I believe this is where the 21 was. It now looks like a 55, but I believe it was a 21. But the idea was up into that 21 and down to the next level on Monday. Or wait for it to rise higher, sell it here. Or, God forbid, it heads all the way up and double tops before it drops. But remember, the purpose of this discussion was, I'm a bear, I'm a bear, I'm a bear, so I'm bearish, so I'm selling, so I sell at resistance, so where the hell is the resistance? Oh, well, there's one here on moving averages, one here on a swing basis, and here a double top. Right? You see, like, the clarity. I sell here, or maybe here, but I'm a seller. Moving average, which is shorter term, that's your day trade. Weekly swing or long-term double top at the monthly center. And you know, it's golden because it's also the projected top. So on Monday, we don't know if it's going way up here, or we don't know if it's going down here, but we know we're going to sell. Oh, all right, so Brendan says, is this a good place to sell? Maybe. Here's why I don't know, Brendan. I know the bears would sell here, and I know some bears sold here. And I know this green zone, and this is where I'm trying to get to, that's where bears are supposed to get out. So now I have to ask myself, are they going to sell again? I don't know. Maybe they're golfing today. So here's what I was trying to get to. Before, well, I asked if you remember the conversation about the law of averages. Right? Right? So if you sold on Monday because it rolled over, or even Tuesday, you get down in the green zone and you're staring at the MS2. This is where I suggest, based on weekly trading, like if you have a weekly trade, like something that you're in for a few days, but you know, okay. I think it's in my book. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. That you have to 100% of the time, without fail, always take profit at weekly M2. I don't know if it's in the book, honestly, but I think it is. I know that's my advice. I can think of many specific occasions of teaching this over the years. Oh, it is? Okay. Now, our law of average discussion was very similar, where I said, look, there's no hope. Hope's not a strategy. Sometimes it goes further than your target, like it might fall farther, right? It might. But there's also a reasonable chance that it heads back up, at least for a while, and then maybe try to head down, or that it heads up and then eventually reverses. And I said, well, if part of the, you know, if 1/3 of the time it goes further and 2/3 of the time it doesn't, then you're actually better off just taking your profit and being done with it. Maybe you leave some money on the table today, but tomorrow you don't lose money that you had in your hand. And then over 100 times, you'll actually make more money just getting out at S2 and just being done with it. Because, you know, you're not trading on hope. You're not saying things like, oh, well, it might fall further. You're like, no, I'm just done. And done for the week, right? You're like, done. It's Tuesday. Done. What'd you do this week? Well, I can't even remember. I haven't worked since Tuesday, right? And here's another great example. Oh, sure, it went 20 or 30 pips further, right? Then pulled back, and then did it again, and then pulled back, and then tried it again, and then broke up here, and then went back down, and then went back up. And, you know, what you don't realize is if you were done on Tuesday, you don't have the stress anymore. You've been golfing, hanging out with your kids, visiting museums, right? Restoring an old vehicle, hanging out with old college buddies. And someone else is over trading and actually losing money because they sell down here and that goes up. So then they buy it and it falls down. So therefore they sell it and then it goes up. You know, and there might be 15 trades in here of stress and making money and then losing more money than you've made. And then you, by the end of the week, you're actually a loser on the whole thing, right? Right? You understand? Like you we discussed this whenever the conversation was this week, last week, but I've even written a magazine article about it where you trade less and you make more money. But you're also like happier too, right? You're like, I'm richer, right? And I'm happier because I barely work, right? Like, I barely do anything. Like, what did you do this week? Oh, well, I sold a moving average on Monday. It hit my limit order Tuesday night, but besides selling and placing a stop and a limit, I haven't actually done anything this week. Yeah, definitely could 1, 2, 3 all the way back up, right? But it's just another trade, right? Right, and of course that comes from the swing trade class as well, where in a scenario that you're looking at here, the assumption is you're going back to the weekly central, right? Right? Like that's in the course. You're like, you should be saying on Monday or Tuesday, like, oh, damn, look at this, green zone. Oh, by Friday, we'll be touching the weekly central. That's factual. Swing traders know that. They're like, oh, yeah. So isn't that why you take your profit? Because as a swing trader now, you're like, oh, yeah, well, it's going to go all the way back to this weekly. Right? It's a trade again, but, okay, it is. At least it's a, but in the course, it's assumed. It's like you don't really trade against the trend unless you see something like that. And once again, it's a factual thing where on Monday, you're assuming, wow, if this heads down, it's going to hit the target zone pretty early, probably Tuesday. And if it is Tuesday, then I think by Friday, it'll be back to the weekly central. Definitely 100% know that as a fact that you're actually thinking about that on Monday, that Tuesday may bottom out there, which means by Wednesday or Thursday, maybe you'll be trading it back and your target is here. That's one of the only times you counter trend trade, but you knew that on Monday. You got your entry on Tuesday or Wednesday, and you could be back long here. You don't have to be. But there's no other time that you look for that scenario, right? Right? You understand? Like, there is no other time you look for that, but that is exactly what you look for to get that. What you do with it is whatever you want, right? Right? So it's cool, right? Where you're planning ahead and assuming these things. Now, did I know it was going to come down and bottom out at monthly S1? No. What does that mean to me? Well, if it goes up, okay, it might go to R1, and that might be the top. Or if it rolls over now in this area, we'll breach support 1, and we're on our way to support 2 based on this kind of being our top. So if this remains our top and this remains down, meaning like maybe we do, and this is what Brendan was talking about earlier, you know, are we going to get something like this today? Yeah, maybe. Maybe, bro. Yeah, maybe. Could be. Could be a rabbit. Could be. If that rolls over, then this is going to S2. Notice it's a monthly pivot and a weekly pivot and a roll reversal we identified on Monday. What? Yeah, okay. So that would then lead us down to here. Oh my God, did I already draw this on the chart for us? Like, you got to remember, we did this on Monday, guys. I think Monday, I don't know, whatever. I mean, but it's there, it's highlighted in bright yellow. That's the first target. Okay, here's the second target. But you're like, oh my God. Becky, look at those pips. Yeah. So, you know, I haven't had any time for anything. I haven't done the scalping course yet. I'm really struggling to find the time. If I can't do it, then maybe at least I could bundle the other courses for you guys, and we'll do the scalping later. So I don't know if you've taken the swing course or if you've taken the fundamental, but maybe I'll bundle those two together, throw in like a price action course and a technical analysis course. Maybe four courses is enough for summer school. I just don't have time. I don't have time. It's funny, I'm often in 2 or 3 meetings at the same time. But I don't know. I'd love to do it. I'm going to try to do it. This scalping. Yes, Elisa, I will. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'll bundle like 2 or 3 or 4 courses together for the price of 1 or something. Right? And if I can do the scalping, I'll do it. If not, you know, it's funny because like I'm in school now to July, and then I might have to do 2 or 3 international trips in July. Plus, I'm supposed to spend time with my family, you know, eventually. And dude, I don't know. I just don't have time. Oh, Ryan has an observation about the discount window. Ooh. Banks that lend from the Fed. What? Banks that lend from the Fed are actually borrowing. What? Banks? You mean that borrow from the Fed? Banks that lend? Okay, banks that borrow from the Fed are actually borrowing their own money. No, they're borrowing money from the other members of that regional Fed. All right. So every Fed bank in every Fed region is a central bank, right? That's why they call it the Federal Reserve System. So the Fed in San Francisco is a central bank. Okay? there are bank members that own shares of the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank. And right, the reserve requirement ratio requires that they deposit money at that Fed. Great. If one of the member banks, so, you know, like I used to have a board member on one of my old companies who used to work at the Fed, at the Federal Reserve Bank, and then he was he worked at Silicon Valley Bank, right? So I'm assuming Silicon Valley Bank was a member of the Fed, right? So let's say Silicon Valley Bank invested, had a lot of money tied up in small startup companies, and suddenly they were in trouble. And they couldn't meet their RRR because of withdrawals and a bunch of problems, right? So they, and because of this, the streets can smell blood. So nobody wants to lend money to Silicon Valley Bank to meet the RRR. Then they would go to the discount window. Okay? Are they borrowing their own money? No, they're short. They don't have enough of their own cash at the Fed. That's the problem. And then they went to JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever, right? And all these companies said, no way, Jose, we are not lending you money through the Fed funds futures market or Fed funds market. Go away. You're too risky. So then they go to the discount window. They borrow from the Fed. The Fed says, well, we're going to charge you a higher rate than the Fed funds rate. You're going to have to pay the penalty, which is the higher interest rate, plus you get a free bonus. Sometimes when you borrow money from a bank, they give you like a free toaster. The Fed gives you a free audit. Yeah, free audit. Woohoo! Plus the stigma that your bank sucks. And it's really not a good thing on the street where they're like, dude, did you see Silicon Valley Bank borrowing from the discount window? And all of a sudden, do you watch your liquidity dry up, right? No one's going to want to do business with you. So that's why the Fed needs to go in and look at the books, because they'll say, well, look, obviously the market knows something's wrong with you guys, so now we got to figure out what's going wrong. Okay? But they're not borrowing their own money. They lack enough money because they're not meeting their required deposits. Okay? But, you know, this isn't happening to Silicon Valley Bank. I'm just giving you an example of a small regional bank in that area that would likely have reserves parked at the Federal Reserve Bank in San Francisco. As far as I haven't spoken to Silicon Valley Bank in a decade or 2 decades, but I'm sure it's still a fantastic bank. Philip doesn't work there anymore. He works somewhere else. Yeah. All right. So there you go. And that's, so Ryan's asking questions about that. That's out of the Fundy scores. And that's a long course. That's a really long course. But anyways. Went over R plus E. You know, and it's funny, like, when you get into, like, my classes, they can take that simple idea, 1 over R plus E, and the math gets, like, crazy ridiculous, right? And now you're arguing over the slope of curves and stuff. You're like, I thought it was just 1 over R plus E. That was easy. And they're like, oh, no. Let me make that so complicated nobody could possibly understand it. And that's what they love to do. It's ridiculous. So it just, because it's been talked about in several of the finance classes I've taken, and I'm like, dude, I thought it was 1 over R plus E. Oh, it is, but if you do this, and then add that, and add that, and add that, put that in there, and do it over there, and then apply your calculus, which is a function of this, and they're like, oh my God, I thought it was just 1 over R plus E. Yeah, so anyways. Nothing like education to ruin something good. Anyways. So did we ride this sucker from 1217 to 1300? Hi. Oh my gosh, huh? So what is this? Monthly resistance? Is that sweet? So, ask yourself an elementary question, because you need to educate yourself. I'm just a guide on your journey. What happens through your observation of the market when an instrument or an asset class hits a combination of weekly and monthly resistance? What seems to happen? See, this is how I would think when I was teaching myself. I really ponder these questions. What tends to happen in your point of view? If you were to teach this to somebody else, and maybe this is why I teach, because you're teaching yourself. But if you're going to teach this to someone else, wow, what happened there? Did it just happen to my beautiful colors? Does it happen every time? Maybe I'm that slow. Okay. Yeah, it changes. Really? All right. So I'll stop adjusting it. All right, so anyways, cool, huh? Well, if you're a buyer, I might consider this. Let me count the ways. Stokes is ready to rise. Isn't rising yet, but it's thinking about it, thinking about it. Monthly central, roll reversal. Weekly central, roll reversal. Monthly M3. Could be, if that's what you're looking for, could be. The threat is the top. But even if it is a top, even if that's the end of the road for this move that we predicted from down here, it should still produce a lower high before it makes a lower low. And this is where scalping comes in. Now you got to be intuitive. Let's say you think it's going to fall. You got to say, all right, so I'm long-term short. But you're like, well, to really get the bears in, we need to really convince the market this is a double top. So that means we need to head back up and make a lower high or another double top of the double top, which is a double top in a smaller time frame. So you could say, so therefore, I'm short-term long, which means you might be preparing now to scalp the rest of the day up and then scalp the rest of the week down. So you could be long-term short, but short-term long. And you're only short-term long because you know that there's a long-term short, which would need, right, a short-term lower high or double top. So you're buying because you want it to fall. And all of a sudden, you're like, what? Yeah, I'm buying it because I want it to fall. But it can't fall because we're at support. So I need to rise it up to resistance and then fire for effect. Right? So in a scenario like that, your thought process is, all right, I'm going to be a bear all next week. Therefore today, and you're going to set up a weekly swing Monday short. So you could be bearish, which is fine, but now as a scalper, you're preparing this, okay? And then you're going to prepare for this, and then this is going to be the key. And you might be trading this on 1 minute and 5 minute charts, buying it as a bear. This is why you should never start as a scalper, because most likely you don't get it. No one should. No, funny thing is, lots of amateurs start out as scalpers, and it's horrible. It's like the dumbest idea ever to start as a scalper, right? Because you don't have patience, you don't have discipline, you don't have long-term analysis, right? And you don't have consistency. Do you understand you can't scalp if you're not consistent? You can't start saying, well, I'm gonna buy these cycles. Do you ever hear that? I'm gonna buy these cycles. And then you're like, Wayne, it doesn't work. And then I'm gonna do this other thing, and then that doesn't work. And then I'm gonna do ADX, and that doesn't work. And you know, some idiot on YouTube told me to use PSAR and buy the flip on the PSAR. So I'm going to do that. And you're just ugly. It's disgusting and disgraceful. I'm like, get that out of my face. Ugh. Embarrassing. So you can't start that way. Frank's like, tell me about it. Brian's he wrote the PowerPoint on it, eh, Brian? Yeah, I mean, but you just can't do it that way, man. That's not how you scalp. That's just ugly. Right? It's like microwaving a yam and then throwing that off the top of a skyscraper. By the time it hits the ground, it's just gross. Oh my God, I just got an email from a guy named Gross. No joke. I'm like, oh, that's gross. Oh, that's gross. How funny is that? Yeah. So anyways, yeah, Peter, that was Peter's first 2 years. Yeah, you know, see, that's the thing. I guess I got lucky because I was too stupid to scalp when I started. I went in with a business mind, and so when I first started, I used Excel spreadsheets. It's true. And charting, I had a separate charting package because your trading platform didn't even come with charts. So I'd start my trading platform, and there was like a table that had things like overnight volatility levels, and some of these numbers I didn't even really understand what they meant, but it gave you some basic like data. MT4 doesn't even have data like this, I don't think. But anyways, so it gave you sort of like overnight volatility. I remember the one I looked at, what was moving, right? But it didn't tell me what direction. It was just what moved the most overnight, based, you know. But it would show like, anyways. So I would copy all this data manually into a spreadsheet. So I created a spreadsheet and had a form and everything. It was great. So I'd spend, you know, probably 40 minutes, more than a half an hour, not an hour, 40 minutes typing all this in for all the different currency pairs I looked at, which was all the majors basically, right? And I put all that in there. Great, that was volatility. But then I would compare like CAD versus everything, dollar versus everything, Aussie versus everything, pound versus everything, yen versus everything. And so anyways, and it created sort of a relative strength thing. And I remember I programmed it so it was like a heat map, which again didn't exist back then. So green thing, you know, if it was positive, it made things green. If it was negative, it made things red. So then I would reorganize things like CAD was the strongest, yen was the weakest, dollar was second strongest, Swissy was second weakest, right? And I would organize everything relative strength-wise based on volatility data compared to relative to all others. So I basically made an index of everything, volatility index of every currency. Then organize them by relative strength. So then I had a little place where I organized them, hottest to coldest. Again, based on volatility, hottest to coldest. And then back then, spreads like pound spread was like 7 pips. If you wanted to trade Kiwi, it was like 9 pips or 12 pips. Like the spreads were huge, right? So then some things I didn't trade because the spreads were high, right? So then I would organize like, well, if CAD and Kiwi were about as hot, about the same strength, but CAD was half of the Kiwi, I'd go with CAD, right? So then I'd organize it by cost, and I'd get down to like 2 or 3 currency pairs I wanted to trade that day, and I knew the direction I wanted to trade. And here's the kicker. You ready? Wait for it. Wait for it. And then I started my charts. I knew what I wanted to buy. I knew what I wanted to sell. I knew why. So I knew what I wanted. I knew the direction. I knew I was a bull or a bear. And then I opened my charts. Just thinking, I want to buy CAD yen now, if I'm at support. And now you're almost disadvantaged, right? Right? Now a newbie opens up a chart like, oh, where's the trade? I think, oh, look at it, boom, I'm in a trade, woo! I never saw charts until after I did my analysis. You have to also remember, you couldn't trade on a chart. You couldn't just like buy. So you had to do your analysis, or but it wasn't like I stared at charts and then bought. I did my analysis, fundamental if you want to call it that way, to figure out what I wanted to buy. So I knew the direction and I knew why based on short-term volatility data, which I created indices out of, and then went over and said to myself, is this a good time to buy? Is this a good price to buy? But I didn't ask any other question. There was no question of like, what did I want to do? I already knew that. So now I'm looking for things like, is this support? Is this a reversal pattern? But you understand, like, isn't that what I tell you to do every day? Well, I honestly believe that that's what you need to do. So what does an amateur do? Open up their charts, and they're like, I want to be a scalper. Bloodbath City. I want to be a scalper. Boo, 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 boo. Right? Sounds like a Lego movie. No, well, Michael, here's what will make you a better trader. You ready, Michael? Pick one currency pair that you like to trade. Not pair, sorry. One currency. Pick what's your favorite currency to trade? Pound, great. Flip a coin. Heads you're bullish, tails you're bearish. Go ahead and do it. I'll wait. Good. I just made you a better trader. You're only allowed to do that now. Right? So you're a seller of pound, right? So today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day now until the end of the year, you either sell or you don't sell. You open up your pound charts, you look for the nearest level of resistance, the resistance after that, and the resistance after that, and that's all you do. All day, all night, and if price hits one of those resistance areas, maybe you sell, maybe you don't, but that's it. You're done. I just made you a better trader because now you have a bias. And if you're wrong and it blows through and it goes higher, you're not going to lose much money. And you just wait for the next level of resistance. And you can be cautious now because you can say, well, this is going up, but I'm a bear. So I'll be cautious. but maybe it'll flip here. Maybe it'll reverse. Maybe I'll get a reversal pattern up here. Maybe it's a monthly pivot and a weekly pivot cluster where it'll reverse. But if it reverses at the monthly, weekly, I'm going to sell it. And then if it goes higher than that, you're like, wow, look at that. Look how high it went. Wow. So, you're a bear or you don't trade. It's at resistance or you don't trade. I am the most opinionated person you've ever met, Michael. And that makes me a hell of a trader. Because I know what I want to do, and I know why I want to do it. I know the price I want to do it at. I just don't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen. But if it does, I know what I'm going to do. Done. 100 cement. Okay? That's opinionated, but that's my job. I'm consistent. The market's not consistent. I'm consistent. So I bring love and joy into a world of darkness and pain. Light, love, joy. To a horrible, painful, dark world. Let me tell you about heartache and the loss of God. Wandering in hopeless night. Out here there are no stars. Out here there's only Wayne McDonell. I just made that up just right now. Well, at least the last part anyways. But think about that. I always think about that because I remember hearing actually I went to the bookstore. It was so long ago, it was Barnes & Noble's. Oh my God! I went to Barnes & Noble as a currency trader. Yeah. And I was reading, I got Jim Morrison's poetry. Now, the Doors made music of it, but he was a poet, and then the Doors put music on top, right? But that poem is called Stoned Immaculate. But I remember that, and I remember thinking, that's like my trading. I remember, right? Think of the words. Let me tell you about heartache and the loss of God, wandering in hopeless night. I mean, think of it. It's where you don't know what you're doing. You're trading. Things are not working. Things are inconsistent. Or the second you trade long, it goes short. As soon as you go short, it goes long. I remember I actually tried for a while. This was my idea. Whenever I got to the point where I knew for a fact I wanted to buy and I had 5 reasons to buy, I would sell. Because I knew every time I sold, it would go up, and every time I bought, it would go down. So I'd get to the point where I came to the conclusion, I have 5 reasons to buy, so I knew for a fact it was going to fall because I always lost money. So then I would sell, and then the stupid thing would go up. And then you're like, is it my broker, right? Is this FXCM or DFT trading against me? Apparently, probably was FXCM trading against me. I don't know, right? But I'm like, is there somebody watching? Is this the market? Is this God being mean to me? Like, what is this, right? And I had no consistency in the beginning. So like, I wanted to quit. I thought I was a loser, you know, just, so like, heartache and the loss of God, meaning like it's hopeless, right? Wandering in a hopeless night. You're just like a veil of darkness. You just literally can't see in front of you. Your trading is just dark and cold and ugly and painful and embarrassing and crushing and devastating emotionally and even physically, because I would trade for 15 hours a day and lose money. It was just like, yeah. And then I'm like, I'm going to make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Yeah. going to start with the man in the webcam. Yeah. But seriously, so I'm like, because I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what a crybaby. So that was all in about 15 minutes, by the way. That whole episode, right? Nothing like sleeping in the bathtub to fix that, right? Yeah. When you go to Jim Morrison and Michael Jackson all in the same sentence, you're like, dude, that's some seriously lame stuff. Yeah, they had the same doctor. Drug dealer. Doctors. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, it's a little known fact that, Macaulay Culkin's father used to hang out with Jim Morrison. and the little midget Webster's dad. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah. And midget's not the right word. I didn't mean that. That was mean. I didn't mean it. Little person. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't slept. Look at that. So we need to cover one more thing. Do you guys like the dollar index being here, by the way? Yeah, why not? All right, I know you find this boring, but there's the monthly swing or the weekly swing short on Monday. Above us is the no-fly zone. We're supposed to be down here. That's the upsetting thing. This is supposed to fall to 111.11 today. Sucks. We're 50 pips away from the weekly target. So I know you sold at 13. You're barely going to make 200 pips this week. I'm sorry. And it's slow. Stupid thing's only up 150 pips. Yeah, Alyssa. Or is it Elisa? Alyssa, I think. Yeah, if it's going up, the dollar's getting strong. So, sell euro dollar, sell pound dollar. So here's the quick and dirty way, all right? You ready? Okay. Here's what I do. Now, I do this with all my screens behind me. Like, I'll just look up, and I have a dollar index. It's called charts. So I can look at it and go, oh, dollar's super strong, boom. Okay? But here's the quick and dirty way. You can look at this and say, dollar strengthening. Okay? So I do this. You ready? I go boom, boom. See? It says plus or minus euro pound. Okay? Watch this. Okay? According to your technical analysis, which one's stronger? Euro or pound? Okay, so here we go. You're looking to sell this one. I'm looking with the I'm asking him to make some pips. Okay, done. See? Now, I'll do that in less than 1 second. Okay. So what if you had a plan that you were going to trade the roll reversal at hourly dynamic resistance is what I call it. Roll reversal, hourly dynamic resistance, when the US dollar happens to be strong and pound happens to be weaker than euro, which now I have a lot going for me, right? You ready? Watch. Wait for it. Wait for it. See? Can you see it? See, one reason why I want to do the swing trading, or I mean the scalping course, loser scalpers will pick up 3, 4, 5 pips, 10 pips per trade. I'll teach you how to scalp 100 pips per trade, 50 pips to 100 pips per trade, scalping. An example of that is what I just did, relative strength exercise based on the dollar index, relative strength of the euro pound, moving over to the right currency for the right reason at the right time, at longer term resistance. You drop into a small time frame, you know exactly what you want to do, why you want to do it, where you want to do it, and all you need is the cross. That's your cross. You're short, you're done, and at this point your stop would be at break even, and you would be bummed out if you only made 50 pips on your scalp. Now often when I'm just bored and I'm scalping for fun, I do like 25 OCOs, I'll do 25, 50 OCOs, I'll do 15, 33 OCOs, I'll do 33.99 OCOs. So I don't even have to like bother myself with targets and stuff because it's scalping, I don't care. But like this idea that you would scalp and make 5 pips, you'd have to be a pathetic loser. How embarrassing. You would tell your mother that that's what you do? I have to clean that up. People get the wrong messages from people selling stuff on somewhere, internet. I mean, I guess I got to be careful because I'm selling you stuff, so I don't know. And that's just garbage. Just think about it. Just honestly think about it. Can you make a career trading where you're only making 10 or 20 pips at a time? Over and over and over and over and over and over? No, actually you can't. I don't think so. It's way too hard. Just absolutely way too hard. Just no way. You're going to do that? You're going to make 25 trades a day for the next 25 years? There's just no way. And what about collecting interest? What about huge wins? What about portfolio management and stuff? Like none of that. Like really? Right? It's like, it's too hard. It's like deciding one day you're going to be a lumberjack. And you're like, you're just going to get out there and you're like, man, look at this. I'm cutting down like 25 trees a day with an axe. Wham, 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 right? Well, what happens 25 years later? You're old and tired, your body hurts, your axe is worn out, you got hands that look like feet, and you're like, damn, this is a lot of work. Right? And you're like, look at that guy in a giant house and a fence, car, and a beautiful wife. What the hell does that guy do? Oh, he bought the lumber mill. What do you want? Lumber mill or an axe? Hey, don't forget to sharpen the axe. So anyways, peace on earth, may the pips be with you. Yeah. Peace on earth, may the pips be with you, may your profits be above average. I'll try to do the course. I don't know. I'll try. If not, I'll bundle something for you. I don't know. But I'll do something to make sure you guys have something to do while I'm gone. I have another week. As you can imagine, I got things to do before I move out of my house, away from my wife and children for a month. But I'll take care of you as well. You're important to me. I'll try. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it to YouTube and stuff. Yeah, I'm almost out of cigars. That's why I keep saying, man. Hey, yeah, send me cigars, man. I'm so desperate. All right. Any last questions? Jay's looking forward to the course. All right, cool. Yeah, like I said, if I can't do the scalping now, maybe I can do it later. So at least there would be a fundamentals course a technical analysis course, a price action course, and a swing trading course. Do I like oranges? No, I hate oranges. I'm diabetic. Yeah. Oh, but when was the last time I took a glass of orange juice? Like, oh, that'd be so good. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, Mikhailovich has a question. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, where do you find those courses? They're on fxbootcamp.com. So remember, if you have a live account, here's an important part. If you have a live account, I'm going to give the support staff at TradersWay a coupon code that will save you guys, like, I don't know, like I said, I'll throw in like 4 courses for the price of 1 or something, so whatever you want. So if you want that deal, you have to have a live account with money in it at TradersWay. But that means you need to, like, open a live account. There's a process. You got to provide paperwork and identification. I mean, you got to go through compliance, right? So, like, if you want to start the course next week, you need to open an account today, kind of thing, and go through the process, right? So do that is all I'm saying. Yeah, Gene's already got one. And Gene, how long did it take to get a live account? About a week, probably, by the time depends on how long you scan, it takes you to scan, right? Maybe it's only a day or 2. But you have to, like, scan documents in and send it. I mean, it's a financial trading account. You've got to go through compliance, right? So there is a process. Lisa's ready to go. Hot to go, H-O-T-T-O-G-O. Right on. Mike, did I miss your question? Mikhailovich? Mikey? Oh, you got it? Did I just answer that? All right. Right? I don't know, Tabo, I haven't figured it out yet. Oh, it's just the orange. Why, you have like an orange plantation somewhere? I just totally insulted your whole family. You're like, I'm 5th generation orange farmer. How dare you? Yeah. Right? You're like, I'm the Orange King of Alabama. Like, wow, I didn't know they had oranges in Alabama. Well, I got an orange tree and I'm the Orange King. But, yeah. All right, so it looks like we're all, everybody's good. Canadian, eh? We're part of Canada. Who's that right, eh? T.O. Gee whiz. The only thing in Toronto are queers and steers. Actually, I was born in Toronto. Yeah. Dude, it's like the most expensive city in the entire world. I jumped in a cab from the, what was it, the Four Seasons, or I think it was Four Seasons, right down, right next to the CN Tower, right? So, that's not, anyways, yeah, right next to the CN Tower. It's not Four Seasons, it's I can't remember. Anyway, so I took a cab. You got to go through the park, and there's a nice hotel on the other side with a bar at the top with a view of the park, right? It's not far. 6-minute cab ride, right? But it'd be a half an hour, 40-minute walk, right? So anyways, well, quick little cab ride, blah, 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 blah. I get to the top of the bar, but I pay the cab. I'm like, oh my God, it was like $50. So it was ridiculous. So I get to the top of the bar. I'm like, I'll have a scotch and I'll have a Monte Cristo Cuban, right? Great. Get the bill, $150. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And I get back in the cab ride, another 5 minutes back to my hotel, another like $50, $100, whatever it was. I'm like, holy crap, this place is ridiculous. Like, I can't afford Toronto. I'll go back to New York City where it's cheap. But, yeah, but the crack is good, right, Michael? If you need crack cocaine, man, Toronto's got it. Just buy it right from the mayor. Yeah. All right, I got to go. Yeah, I'll upload the video, and then I'll post it on Forex.Today. I'll go through all that process. So peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Thanks for hanging with me. See you Monday, huh?